right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back. And I'm back. Took me a while to figure out what I wanted to talk about, focus on. And I kept coming back to this subject because she is in the news again. I keep an eye out for comments from Jacqueline Durand, Brooklyn Curry, and I'm still waiting to hear from the lady whose two kids were killed towards the end of last year. I think that was November of last year. Still waiting to hear a statement from either her or her husband. But Jacqueline Durand, as you see, is in the news again. Good morning, Buster, Grethel, Urban, Alexis, as you can see. And I filtered this for the past 24 hours. And already you see an article about her that was published 4 hours ago. But if you were to simply Google her name, you're going to see that there are a lot of articles that have recently been written about her. Pretty much anytime she comes out and, they're going to cover her. But I want y'all to look at this. Several articles have been written. And what I need you to focus on is when they were published. 4 hours ago, 40 minutes ago, 6 hours, 7, 9 hours, 5. Now, why is she in the news again? Why is she in the news again? Let's check it out. She's in the news to share her development, right? Now, I don't think this is actually a news coverage of it. I don't think so. No.
What do you remember about where they were attacking you?
My leg, my arm, my face the most. Especially when I felt the skin hanging from my face. I thought I was gonna die.
From the time police arrived, 37 minutes passed before first responders felt safe going in. A medic rescued Jacqueline.
They took 37 minutes. But understand, when the cops arrived, 30 minutes had already passed. And they procrastinated for another 37 minutes until they went in there. Don't ask how or why. I have no idea.
And ran out with her. She was rushed to a trauma center in grave condition. She had lost 30% of the blood in her body.
She lost 30% of the blood in her body. That's just a quick reminder of Jacqueline Durand, who I'm dealing with in this video. This is a very sad story. Let me get rid of this. Despite her inability to think for herself independently and base her thoughts and emotions on reality, she's just going along with the program. That's what it seems like to me. She does not want to rock the boat. And she definitely does not want to upset the dog lover world. It's the dog lover world who has given her so much support. And I suspect that she has received financial support from fellow dog lovers, which I suspect may be a big reason why she makes such a point to exalt dogs even after this attack. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. That is a very dangerous example to set, people. And I don't think it's acceptable at all.
I can't do negative today.
Okay, so she's making a point to make all these videos and take all these photos, making it a point to have her large dog in there with her. Okay, why? She is not quite like Brooklyn Curry. Like, at least Brooklyn Curry is not doing this. At least that I'm aware of. Though she did say that she still loves dogs. Okay, but Jacqueline Durand is sort of on a different level. As a matter of fact, I want to show y'all her Instagram. Because I think the Instagram is worse, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, she is a public figure. So when she goes public, you know, we have to talk about it. Because what she says matters. People listen to her. You know, she attracts a lot of attention because of her injuries. Her story just went viral. So boom, just like that, you are a public figure. So the question is, what are you doing with this newfound fame? What she's doing is trying to encourage people to surround themselves with dogs no matter what. No matter what type of learning experiences you may have. She sends the message out to never turn your back on dogs. And it's pretty crazy. Now, this is her Instagram. As you can see, she's quite committed with showcasing dogs still, even after the attack. And we have seen her. You know what? For people who haven't seen it, this is her TikTok. Okay.
So I decided to surprise my sister at work, and I bought her a Sonic drink, and I called her and I go, "You thirsty?" She goes, "I'm at work." I'm like, "I know, I'm here." She's like, "Wait, really?" And so here I am waiting on her to come down. So yeah.
A lot of people forget how she used to look before she was attacked. Several videos on her TikTok and Instagram. And I look at these old videos of hers. I look at these old photos of hers.
Who is the most stubborn?
And I just imagine to myself that she really, really does miss the way she used to look. Just like Brooklyn Curry. Of course, she's not going to show that on a TikTok video or Instagram. But it's mind-boggling how much she has shown loyalty to dogs and dog culture. It's fascinating. The addiction to dogs really needs to be examined and researched by professionals, teams of professionals. This is a real thing, people. And I don't like the example she's setting. This is immoral. No matter how you look at it, this is immoral. Now, we can't escape having certain responsibilities. No matter what, we all acquire responsibilities. And you just have to step up. You know, you have to work for a living. If not, you pay the consequences. You have to pay your bills. So she is doing something, and she has to accept what she's doing. She's setting an example. She's sending a message. All eyes are on you. All eyes are on you because you went through something horrific. Okay? And they are wondering what type of advice you're going to offer in response to why people are looking at you. What is your advice? Do you understand whatever your advice is going to be that much more valuable? And what does she do? What is her advice? To continue to surround yourself with dogs. That is a very dangerous and horrible. That it is immoral. No matter how much she may not mean malice, even though she may not have any mean or malice intent. Because like I said, you cannot defend the existence of these things and sound sane or like a person of high morals. And I need the young people to understand. She should have never surrounded herself with dogs in the first place. Remember, she was a dog sitter. So she would go around and sit various people's dogs. Have you turned your back on that lifestyle? That lifestyle got you attacked. It got you mutilated. No, she wants to encourage people to continue even after something like this happens. Now, most likely, other people are not going to be hurt this bad. Their injuries won't be this bad. So the example she's setting is no matter how bad the injury, no matter how much you've been traumatized, no matter how much you've learned from that experience, you still and you always surround yourself with dogs. Now, as I've pointed out before, this mass of flesh that's on her face, from what I understand, this is skin from another part of her body. I think we saw a similar thing with Brooklyn Curry. So she's, gradually making improvements. But that mass of flesh on her face, it looks peculiar. And it looks like something that a dog would bite. Now, what if she got bit again? What if a dog latched on to that big mass of flesh and re-mutilated her face? Then what? Do y'all believe she would turn her back on dogs then? Probably not. And this is embracing stupidity. There's no way around it. Embracing stupidity on a dangerous, very dangerous level. I can't support that, and I can't respect that. I can't respect that. I can respect you trying to inspire people, but it's based on how you're trying to do it. If what you're doing is not really inspiring them, or if it is inspiring them, it only inspires them to do what? Endanger themselves. Get themselves in trouble. Kids are very curious. Young people very curious. They see this woman. They're going to want to know what happened to her. What's going on? And the message that she gives to them is, yes, I was attacked by dogs, but so what? I value my face, but I don't value my face enough to keep dogs away from it. That's not intelligent. That's not intelligent. And you have to be concerned about people who simply don't care about themselves even after they have gone through what's supposed to be a learning experience. See, this is what they try to train you to do. No matter how much you learn through experience, they want to tell you to never make the adjustments so that it doesn't happen again. The message, the example she's supposed to be setting is that you learn from your mistakes. You put an end to whatever it was that caused you to be mutilated like that. Why? Because you don't want it to happen to other people. That's the humane part of it. That's where your humanity really shines through. And through no other way does it do it. You want to have a positive influence and impact on others? This is the exact opposite of that goal. What she's doing is the exact opposite of that goal. Instead, you may have young people who get mutilated, and they'll do it in honor of Jacqueline Durand. Oh, I was doing what Jacqueline Durand was doing. Why should I not surround myself with dogs when she still surrounds herself with dogs even after a horrific and historic mutilation? I think I said this before, but when you embrace stupidity, it stunts human intellectual growth in many ways that don't even seem related. Because ultimately what you're doing is you're working against your brain's attempt to function properly. That can never be good. Y'all remember yesterday I started talking about xenophobia. Xenophobia is all about trying to encourage and influence people to not listen to their common sense. Extremely dangerous. People, and this is common sense. You step outside your front door and you fall in a ditch, okay? You're going to be mindful. You're going to patch it up. You're going to look out the next time you walk out the door. There is just nothing positive. There's nothing positive or helpful about setting an example like this. I mean, looking at her old videos and photos, it is mind-blowing that she is not at least suggesting that people not surround their kids with pit bulls, bully breeds. She's not even taking a stance against bully breeds, which is something that a lot of dog lovers do. We have to talk about this. Is definitely important. I follow a guy on Twitter, and I think his screen name is Killed by Pets or something like that. He's a dog owner. He's a dog lover. But he takes a very strong stance against bully breeds. She could at least do that. That would really bring honor and closure to what happened to her. It would show that she don't want this to happen to anyone else. That's the only way for you to, help others avoid an attack like this. That's the one and only way. You can't do anything else. You can't go into people's home and control them. The best you can do is say, hey, look at me. Don't let it happen to you. She needs to be also truthful. I don't know if she's told anybody, but I suspect it was primarily that bully breed that was attacking her. Had blood all over it, and the other worthless mutt, I didn't see no blood on it. That bully breed was doing the vast majority of the damage. And she has not even come out and said anything against bullying. The only thing she has said is that she wants the owners to be aware of their dogs and to inform their dog sitter of how the dog's temperament is, or something like that. Something very vague and harmless. She made sure not to offend or say anything disrespectful about dogs or dog lovers. That's harmful. That's counterproductive. That is harmful. Why would you go through something like this only to have a negative influence and impact on people? I couldn't sleep at night. I could not sleep at night. What is this? Sensitive content. Oh, wow. Viewer discretion advised. Here, let me see. Viewer discretion advised. I think these are some of the older videos. Don't you think the young people, they look at you and they say to themselves, man, I don't want this to happen to me. How do I make sure that this doesn't happen to me? And they look at her lifestyle and see that she's still doing the exact same thing that got her mutilated in the first place. That's counterproductive. That's not positive. I don't care how much money and donations you might get from dog lovers or what kind of support that they're giving you. That's counterproductive. And it's a shame that they can't even get on and say, hey, don't keep pit bulls around kids, around babies, around the elderly. Not giving any advice against dogs or to avoid dogs whatsoever, just like xenophobia. Oh, you don't want to go around dogs? Something's wrong with you. You have a mental disorder. And they're really trying to push this narrative that there is no reason whatsoever justifiable to avoid dogs, to deliberately and intentionally avoid dogs. And if you do that, then you have a mental problem. Even in the medical news today, they said that part of xenophobia is when you avoid dogs, and they also mentioned avoiding parks that are full of dogs. Of course you avoid parks. And if you go to the park, you better stay in your car. And there's no way of knowing whether or not a dog is going to be out there. So yeah, I don't go to parks. Don't need to. Find an alternative. And don't blame me. Don't say something is wrong with me for not going to a park that's full of dogs. I don't want to end up like Jacqueline Durand. Amazing. Just amazing how people buck and fight against the most intelligent brain that we're aware of. Like, how dare you? Don't dishonor your very existence by basically refuting. They're like at war with their own brain. You can't do that. You can't do that. Nothing but bad things will follow. I don't respect anything that does not know good from evil, because creatures like that generally will lean towards evil behavior. Do you understand that's beneath us? To be an organism that cannot distinguish between good and evil, does not know the difference between high morals and savage behavior. Do you not appreciate the complexity of human beings? And if you don't, you need to question your own, how much of a human are you really? Are you not fully developed as a human, where you don't even understand and respect what you are? If you don't know anything, even if you can't talk, you should at least do that. You should at least protect yourself, protect your children, your family. You don't need to be complex to show that basic common sense. And she's trying to encourage people to operate against that very, very basic natural instinct. That's problematic. Very problematic. Dogs. It's one thing to not hate dogs. It's one thing to accept dogs in society. It's one thing to even have them as pets. It's another thing to try to treat them like family members. You can have a dog as a pet, yet you live on a farm, you're out away from society, right? You're well, and the dog lives outside. That's one thing. It is exactly the types of relationships they try to have with dogs that gets a lot of them mutilated and killed. Shout out to Per Kelly. He left a interesting post. He said, "Dog is God backwards." Now, a lot of people pointed that out. We've been pointing that out for years now. He said, "Backward things are associated with evil, chaos, negativity, and death. Dogs eat poop, vomit, blood, children, and rotten carcasses. All depictions of evil feature creatures with tongues hanging out from their mouths, exactly like dogs. And just like demons, dogs have to be chained at all times." Yes. Shout out to Per Kelly, leaving that very important message on one of the videos that I suggested. I think we have a right to question how she addresses the public, because she is a public figure. People are listening to you. This is just something that public figures have to deal with. When they come out and say things or do things, people talk about what they said and or done. In this case, she is saying things and doing things, the exact same things that got her mutilated in the first place. And I want young people to ask yourself, do you think that's smart? Yes, I know many of you have thought about this. What if she gets her face mutilated again? It could be one of her dogs. There have been many people who've raised their dogs and it grew up and attacked them. Can you imagine a pit bull latching its jaws onto that mass of flesh on her face and holding and shaking and re-mutilating her? So why would you put yourself in a position for that to happen again? If you don't use that experience to make changes in your life to make sure it don't happen again, like what good is your brain? What good is it? It must just exist to serve the interest of other people. The people who put this propaganda and rhetoric out here, many of those people, they don't have dogs. They don't own dogs. They're not dog owners. Many of them, they don't do the things. that the general public does. And why do this, of all things? And this girl is very young. She's 22. I think she's 23 now. She made this Instagram account, I think, when she was 17 years old. And when you scroll through, the very first photo she ever uploaded was of a dog. Posted one photo and uploaded another dog. We all know that there are a lot of people like this. They're just dog lovers, obsessed, love, dog, dog. Everything is dog, 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 dog. Non-stop, just dog heaven, everyday dog. She was raised in that. I believe she started this Instagram when she was around, I want to say, she was 22 in 2022. So just go backwards. Her first post, 2012. So she made this post when she was 12 years old. She was 12 years old. The only way she could have been this obsessed with dogs at 12 years old is if she was raised that way, conditioned, brainwashed that way. And that's probably a big reason. I think it's a big reason why her father was so choked up when he was explaining her injuries. He was very choked up. I believe they knew and felt that they had a part in that. So she was brainwashed at a very young age, and even after being mutilated, that brainwashing process still dominates. Of course, there's extra motivation for her because, she's getting a lot of financial support from dog lovers. They're basically rewarding her for staying loyal to dogs. But what benefit is there by doing that? The only thing she does is risk getting mutilated again. So these people, they destroy the minds of kids when they're tiny toddlers, when they're still babies, infants. They're being indoctrinated, forced to be accustomed to the dander, the filth in the air, and have these things all up in their face non-stop. Young people, if you have a face that's intact, you should value it. Your face is valuable. It's the only one you get. If it gets disfigured, you can't just get another one. Do you know how you value your face? One thing that you do is keep it away from dogs, especially large. And really, let me stop with that. Y'all remember that girl who got her eyelid bitten off? That was a small dog that did that. Little tiny mutt. Value your face enough to keep dogs away. Is that hard? That's not hard, is it? It's a tough task. It's a tall order to try to unbrainwash people. And trust me, I'm not really trying. I'm just doing me. But the dog nuttery, this is a dangerous lifestyle. And, the dog lovers kill me trying to project us as the evil people when we're trying to help others to avoid having this happen to them or their family. You can't get any more positive than this. But you're a dog lover. So you're angry. You're upset. Tough. But this is dangerous. This is dangerous, and what really frustrates me is that there are no news segments, there are no articles, there are no talk shows, nothing like that are having this discussion. In no other circles are people having a discussion about how reckless, unintelligent it is for someone who's been attacked, especially as bad as she was. Nobody's having a discussion about how insane. This is insanity at a level that is hard to compare to anything else. Like, I can't think of anything right now that can compare to how backwards this is. This is like so backwards. You stay away from something that has proven to be a threat. That's very simple, basic. But they are at war. They are so much at war with logic and common sense. That is not going to lead us to a good place, people. This dog nuttery is not only gotten a lot of people hurt physically, like Jacqueline Durand, they have come in between relationships, between human relationships. Think about that. What type of impact do dogs really have on humanity? The physical attacks and mutilation is one thing. Very few people talk about how these things come in between relationships in general. I've heard so many stories from both males and females about how someone that they used to date was more obsessed with their dog than with them. There's no telling how many human relationships have been ruined or damaged because of dogs. We haven't even dealt with how they contaminate our water and air. How much impact do dogs have on humanity, really? It's irrefutable that they mutilate faces and cause serious injury. But they also, and quite often, come in between human relationships. Not just couples where you're dating someone, but your neighbors. There is a whole slew, millions upon millions of people who are at odds with one another because they're neighbors, and one of them is a nutter. People can't stand them and their dog. Dogs ruin everything that they even remotely have something to do with, just by sharing a community with dogs. They ruin the community. Now, we all know this. We all had our stories and shared our stories of how dogs have come in between human relationships. And these same creatures that did this to her, mutilated her face, these same creatures are being ushered into schools all across the country under the guise of, oh, they're therapy dogs. And you're making a point to target children. You want children to become numb to the threat of dogs. Why are you doing that? You want them to end up like Jacqueline Durand. That's why you're doing it. There's no other reason to do it. Am I missing something? The idea that it relaxes you, that's a con. That's nonsense. Tell me it should not be illegal to be bringing dogs into schools and libraries, targeting kids, basically forcing kids to pet and rub on them. That's what they do. They tell them, come pet it. Come and pet it. It's okay, it won't bite. Not a school where my child is a student. No way that could happen. So I'm disappointed with Jacqueline Durand. I'm disappointed. And what's crazier is that Jacqueline Durand is now listening and hearing about stories like this. Ever since she's been out, I'm quite sure, well, I don't know, but I'm sure she's heard about some other dog attacks. What's wrong with being an activist against dog ownership? Or at least an activist against pit bull ownership? What's wrong with that? The pit bull lovers, the dog lovers, they'll understand if Jacqueline Durand put that message out. Avoid, having kids around pit bulls. Even the pit bull lovers, they'll understand. They probably, won't appreciate it, but they'll understand. They won't hold it against you. And at the same time, you will have had possibly a positive impact on people. Somebody might take your advice. They hear that there's a pit bull in this house. Okay, I'm not going in there. Right? I was reading this article about Jacqueline Durand earlier today. I looked at her face and she suggested that we don't have kids around pit bulls. So let me not go in that house. Then maybe later on you find out the dog snapped and flipped out and attacked somebody. Well, in that case, Jacqueline Durand actually helped to save your life. But now, if someone listens to her advice, what they're going to do? They're going to go towards the dogs. They're going to put their face in the dog's face. That's what Jacqueline has been doing since she's been out. And it is because her parents never taught her. Never taught her. They helped to brainwash her. How about this story? I talked about this, I think, a couple live streams ago for the first time. Like if Jacqueline Durand sees stories like this, how many stories like this do you need to see before you say to yourself, look, that's it. This is a problem. If you're an adult, knock yourself out, but you shouldn't have these things around kids. Can you at least say that? Every possible type of example and influence you could possibly have doing what you're currently doing is to get people hurt. If they do what you're doing right now, after the surgeries, she's had I think 18 surgeries. And she's still posting stuff on TikTok and Instagram. All eyes are on you. These people, 104,000 people, virtually all of them followed you after you were attacked, after your story went viral. You know full well you didn't have no 104,000 followers. So you are nothing but a role model. That's all you are. They don't know nothing else about you. And she uses this opportunity to encourage people to surround themselves with dogs. That's counterproductive. I know it's very sad, but what we're looking at is an attack victim encouraging others to endanger themselves as well, no matter what. Even if your face goes through what my face went through, you should continue to surround yourself with dogs, large dogs at that. Very sad. It's very sad, man. And it's a bunch of things. It's sad and it's infuriating. It's infuriating. Young people, look at how she used to look. She had a normal face. Don't you want your face to always be normal? Don't you? Don't you want to look normal like this for your whole life? Are you truly willing to have this happen to you? You truly willing to take the chance? You want to create the perfect environment for this to happen to you? Really? Can you explain why that's smart? Because it seems dumb. Seems very dumb. Don't take your face for granted. Your face is the most detailed expression of your spirit. Your face is the most detailed expression of your spirit. You protect your face with your life. You don't put it at risk. This is especially valuable for women. Women are the beauty of the human race. And wow. You know, even if she were promoting these things towards adults, it would be bad. But she has kids and babies all through her social media with dogs too. I just can't, man. I already don't understand how parents are not outraged knowing that these schools are bringing dogs into the classroom and telling their kids to rub and pet on them. Wow. So hopefully, because she's still young, I think she's only 23, she might be here 20, 30, 40 years from now. Let's hope with age comes wisdom. And as she gets older, she eventually gives the right advice, gives advice and sets an example that will keep people safe rather than get them hurt. Hurt exactly like she was hurt or worse. Man, oh man. The dog nutter world. This is an incredible. It's fascinating. I never would have thought that you could dupe the human mind like this with propaganda. I would have thought that no matter what, blatant reality would take over. You can't con nobody and trick them into thinking that a giant mutt is harmless. Trying to pretend like you can understand their thoughts. That really burns me up. You cannot use language to communicate with these things. And really, that's all I need to know. You don't know what's on their mind. You don't know what they're thinking. So you cannot call them harmless. Even if they haven't attacked anyone, you can't call them harmless. You have to consider these things dangerous because they possess dangerous things. Teeth, deadly. Dog teeth, deadly. So here's a living creature sitting there with some deadly weapons, okay? Can I at least communicate with this creature? No. Now, dog lovers think they can communicate with it just by giving it food. That by giving it food, that's their way of saying to the dog, I'm okay. I'm not going to hurt you. You should protect me and stay with me. But that's not the case. Feeding a dog, that's not the same as using language to communicate. At some point, you have to show respect for what you are. We're humans. Humans are designed to communicate through language. We don't attack each other to establish rank in our homes. We don't urinate and defecate, turn around and eat it. We don't stab babies and toddlers. We are not dogs. It's sad that somebody has to explain that to you. But here I am, doing my best. People, what is going on? Will it ever stop? I don't even know what this is. I don't even know why I have this up. Woman arrested for threatening witness in fatal dog attack. Okay, I think I remember this.
It's Friday, March 10th. I'm Barry Davis with your KENS 5 News Now. San Antonio police say a bizarre rock incident led to a person being shot on the west side. This happened around 6:30 last night on South Acme Road. Police say a blue Dodge Durango pulled up to two women and someone inside threw a large rock at their windshield. Police say one of the women shot at the SUV before it sped off. Officers believe one of the people in the Durango was shot, but they've not been able to locate a victim. A father's facing charges.
In the world? What are they talking about? This is just some random story. Yeah, this happens. Now that's a recent story. I think that surfaced a few hours ago. What is this? No, get out of here. Get out of here. I hate these websites. They want to get you to pay to read their article. You kidding? Right? March 10th, 2023, 26-year-old threatening a witness in the deadly dog attack left an elderly man dead and three other. Wait a minute. Yeah. This is that story. Yeah. Oh, she was threatening somebody? Wait a minute. Let me make sure this is the same dog attack that I'm thinking about. Is this the one where the old man was in the front yard? Yeah. Same story.
Trauma the same way. Kids.
Same story. So y'all remember that woman, right? She little skinny woman. The dog owner's girlfriend or wife. She was arrested for threatening a witness in the dog attack that left that man. Affidavit says she's the sister who's also arrested for the deadly dog. Victim said started speaking a mixture of English and Spanish, called her a slur, threatened to kill her son and kill her. These threats of death does seem more common with dog lovers. I don't know why. Right? Oh, what a coincidence, right? Lord. Yeah, these people are crazy. Oh, wait, whoa.
It's Friday morning.
Okay, let's stop that. What is going on, people? It is Friday. I hope y'all doing good. It is snowing here in Ohio. So, it could be better. But I'm here. I'm making it. I'm A-OK. How y'all doing? I need to hurry up and figure out how to take calls and get people on the show. I should have done this by now. I'm doing way too much. So I can start having interviews and all that kind of stuff. The fun stuff. Get some feedback on some of this madness, man. Oh boy. Okay, this surfaced an hour ago. Probably just that media. Oh, well, this might be breaking news. A 5-year-old now? A boy, 5, mauled to death by family's dogs. In Canada? Family dogs. There you go. There you go. Family dogs. Let's see if they have a story on this yet. Alberta. Yeah, we'll do this. Killed in dog attack. Yeah, I have to check this out. Bear with me. Yeah, I know Jacqueline Durand will not. She's not going to respond. I don't expect her to. She might hear the video, and that's enough. She don't have to directly respond to me. I'm just trying to put a message out there. And we all know it's true. Okay, so I can't find it. So this is breaking news. 5-year-old attacked. It was a family dog. They were family-owned pets. There is no public safety concerns or other concerns to the public. Okay? Fatality, family dogs, family-owned. The family killed the dogs themselves following the attack. Y'all hear that? They didn't call the cops. They didn't call the animal control. Wait for it to be euthanized. Go through an investigation. The family killed the dogs themselves. How about that? Boy's mother said that her son was a happy boy. We touched a lot of people's hearts. CBC is not naming the child because he was receiving child intervention services from the province. Man, what in the world? Said my son was only 5 years old and had a whole life ahead of him. I can still hear his voice in my head saying how much he loves me. Well, wait a minute. These were family dogs. These are family dogs. And this is what I've been trying to tell you. Yeah, your 5-year-olds and other youngsters got their whole life ahead of them. That's exactly why there should be no dogs in the home. Don't reflect on this now, after the fact. Don't reflect on this now. It's too late. We're not asking for too much intelligence for you to reflect on this before you acquire the dog. That's very simple. There's no excuse. If you can reflect on it after the fact, then you could have thought about it and reflect on it before you got the dog and decided not to get it. No, blood is on your hands. See, this is how they get away with that. And listen, what I tell you, I'm highly suspicious. I suspect that some of these people deliberately, knowingly create the environment, the conditions for a dog to attack their child, their toddler, because it's a trend now. Some of them see that when someone loses their child in a dog attack, they get a bunch of donations, tens of thousands of dollars. And you might get somebody who is broke, very low on funds. They're desperate, and they're looking for something that they can do to make money. Then they search the internet and they see that this person whose child was killed, mutilated, received $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 in donations. So you get what you want and you don't go to jail. You basically commit a murder. And it's documented as an accident. This is dangerous. You shouldn't even have this kind of loophole. I can't even call it a loophole. This is our law, designed to protect us. Wow. He said, now look at this. Look at this. The boy went to school. It was Thunder. Chief Albert Thunder. Chief Albert Thunder. Thunder said his whole community is heartbroken and is working to support the boy's family. He said it's hard to believe something like this could happen. No, it's not. What are you talking about? This is a chief saying something like this. Now, a police officer, you should know better. You all police officers should be well aware of how often dog attacks happen. There's no excuse for that. Hard to believe something like this could happen. What are you talking about? We're literally sitting over here waiting for it to happen. Just like this story just now. Okay, now I'm just waiting for the next story. I'm expecting it to happen. Hard to believe something like this could happen. Do you understand what you're saying? I'm having a hard time keeping up with the stories of this happening. Literally. You see what I mean? It's not asking too much for you to make sense when you speak. Am I the only one? Sometimes I think I'm going crazy. Sometimes I think I'm losing my mind, like I'm the only one that understands what I'm trying to explain. And that really irks me. I'm not the one, and I don't have the best brain. But Lord, I ain't doing this. I ain't this oblivious. Wow. Thunder said the community held a prayer. Yeah. Did you have a discussion about how dangerous it is to have these things around? No. Nobody ever says anything. It's all just, oh, that was sad, and on to the next death, the next killing. Almost thought this was it, but this was from 3 years ago. Yep, they're talking about it's hard to believe something like this could happen. Look at this. Huh? What are you talking about? Yeah, this video went viral. This is a horrible video. I retweeted it. The unedited version of this video is on my Twitter account. I can't show it here. But India, they're pretty outraged over there. And I hope we're having some influence. I hope we're encouraging them to try to prevent this from happening again, doing whatever you have to do. You watch this video and other videos. How can you not conclude that you need, as a community, to do whatever you have to do to make sure that doesn't happen again, even if it means eliminating each and every worthless dog in the country? Who do you value more? The dogs or your children? They cannot coexist. One of them has to go. So there's nothing to talk about. Dogs all over the world need to start being euthanized. Okay, you think that's a ridiculous idea. But there's no way you can deny that all bully breeds need to be euthanized. You can't deny that. Y'all also notice this? I Googled 5-year-old boy killed in dog attack, and I'm getting cases of 5-year-old boys getting attacked from several points in history. This one 9 months ago, 2 weeks ago. The other one was a few years ago. This one 9 months ago. But you always getting 5-year-old. And this is just one age. This one 4 years ago. And this is a police officer who said that. Talking about it's hard to believe something like this could happen. I don't know what y'all doing in these police departments or what's going on, man. Y'all need to wake up. Sorry about that. I had to take my vitamins. People, it's gone too far at this point. Now watch this. Wait a minute. Okay, because I haven't even looked through this yet. Man mauled to death before the yeah. This was one story that I planned on talking about that I never got to. Because it's just so many of them. So many stories. Y'all seen where I have a bunch of windows up here, but I won't go through all of them all the time. Because there's too much stuff to cover. Like now, I'm up here babbling. How long have I been live? Over an hour now already. And I barely covered anything. Now my live streams are all jumbled. I can't focus on one thing because it's too much stuff. I title a video something, then I got to talk about a few other things. There's no way. I'll be here all day trying to separate all these stories in different videos. And I don't mind doing it like this. You should be dumped on with a bunch of stories. This is reality that the dog lovers don't live in. So there's nothing they can tell us. Man mauled to death by 4 dogs while working in Jurupa Valley, okay?
A man mauled to death by 4 dogs while working at a home converted into a business. He's just been identified as 42-year-old Mateo Salvador. Neighbors heard his screams and called for help, but it was too late. Eyewitness News reporter Michelle Fisher spoke to Riverside County Animal Services.
The Beware of Dogs sign on this gate is a clear warning, but the fatal attack on 42-year-old victim Mateo Salvador, who was doing...
Now, did y'all see that? It's my first time watching this. I caught that. They started the story off by pointing out it was his fault. He clearly saw the signs. The signs were up. This man, I believe, was an electrician or something. He was doing what he was supposed to be doing.
The Beware of Dogs sign on this gate is a clear warning, but the fatal attack on 42-year-old victim Mateo Salvador, who was doing work at this property, is likely something he didn't see coming.
The had been at the property before and probably had some level of comfort around the animals. Here's a guy just wanting to come do some work, earn some money for himself and his family, and now he's deceased. And
that's man's best friend. That's the type of friendship that they display on a regular basis. Not all creatures in the world. You want to usher these into schools all across the country and libraries. You want to teach them, oh, yeah, come rub on it. When you see them, go up to them and try to touch them. Lunatics.
This is a trend.
It happened Tuesday morning at Homeland Electric, a business inside this converted home.
Yes, he was an electrician. Wasn't doing nothing wrong.
Of Belgrave Avenue and Martin Street in Jurupa Valley. Around 7, a neighbor saying he heard screams.
A male person talking very loud like he was either upset about something or in distress for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, if it would have been me, yeah, you would have heard some distress. It would have been a dog squealing. But that squealing would have stopped. Right? You would have heard some gunshots shortly before that squealing. I guarantee you that. This guy working as an electrician, you know you about to be outside. There's no way I would have had this job and been unarmed at the time. There's no way.
Someone else called 911 because of the man screaming. Riverside County Sheriff's deputies arrived a short time later and discovered what had happened.
This man was attacked by 4 dogs. 3 of the dogs are Belgian Malinois, and 1 is a King Corso.
Neighbors say those 4 dogs are well known on the street.
I hear them barking when there's any activity, walking down the side, walking down Martin.
Oh, barking. He said barking. You could tell he's talking. And look at the camera on his shoes. He don't want to be shown. Barking. See, these people, they understand that all that barking is threats. Those are the dog's way of threatening you. We all understand that these are threats of death from dogs. And I don't accept it. We don't accept it. It's unacceptable. We can't go out and threaten people's lives. Sick of these people putting dogs on a pedestal as if they are above us.
Then they will bark.
The owner wasn't home at the time of the attack, but showed up after deputies and surrendered the dogs for humane euthanasia. Witnesses say deputies secured the area around nearby Harupa Valley High School as a precaution.
They locked up the gate. They secured everybody.
The tragedy now serving as a reminder for dog owners.
Any type of work that's going to be done on a property where dogs are around, you always want to make sure the public and, workers are going to be safe.
Hello, I'm Mark.
Yeah.
Mark Brown. Get more great.
Yeah. Isn't that the same thing that they tell postal workers? I just watched a video, people. Just watch one. You know what? Let me see if I can find this. I got to show y'all this. With that story in mind, I have to show y'all this. Breed bias, woman, dog small. Come on, what did I do with it? I have to find this. They did this reenactment. Where was it? It was like this reenactment for the Postal Service. And man, where was that? Dogs. Yeah, I can't find it. I can't find it. That's too bad. It was this reenactment of not a police officer, a mailman coming to the front door and to give someone their mail. And they had the person, the human, stand at the door beside his or her dog, and then they would take the dog and put it in another room and close the door and then take the mail. So they understand that dog lovers, they're not that bright. So they wanted to give you a visual instructions. Okay, dog lovers, this is what you do. You're standing at the front door, mailman on the other side, your dog next to you. Don't open the door. That was the message. Don't open the door. Take your dog, put it in another room, close and lock that door. And then you open the front door and get your mail. Treating this thing like the menace that it is. When you talk about man's best friend, this is not a friendly creature. This is anything but. It's the opposite of friendly. And they don't deserve to have no title of man's best friend. I reject that. No, they're not. I challenge anybody on that. No, they are not man's best friend. They're our worst enemy. What in the world is this? Now, I know I didn't miss this many stories. Some of these stories, I don't even remember these things. Wait a minute.
New at 5, police have cited former Wauwatosa police officer Joseph Mensah following...
No, that's that. Yeah, I did cover that. I'm about to say, man, the world. But the number of stories I've covered already is too much.
Fear
Lord.
continues to plague the street where a man was fatally mauled more than 2 weeks ago by a pack of dogs.
Police did arrest 2 people. 3 dogs were also euthanized, but people who saw that attack say they've been targeted for speaking about the nightmare that they say the dog owners have put them through.
Our Patty Santos joins us live now from police headquarters. Patty, witnesses being targeted, I guess, has to be a big concern for SAPD.
Witnesses being targeted? You see, what does that sound like? I've compared these people to the mafia. They target witnesses. When witnesses talk, they don't want their face shown, point the camera at their shoes. They're very reluctant to say anything against dog culture. This is crazy. People losing their life. Kids losing their life. And you insist. You still insist on pampering and protecting these things. And what they're actually doing, they're protecting the dog's right. They're treating the dog as if they have a right to attack us.
కుక్కల నుంచి తనను తాను కాపాడుకునేందుకు ఒక చిన్నారి ప్రాణాలు అరచేతిలో పెట్టుకుని పరుగులు తీసింది. అయినా కుక్కలు వదలలేదు. పడుతూ లేస్తూనే రోడ్డుపై పరుగులు తీసింది చిన్నారి. ఒక్క నిమిషం ఆలస్యమైతే చిన్నారిపై కుక్కలు దాడి చేసేవే. కానీ ఇంతలో ఓ వ్యక్తి వచ్చి చిన్నారిని కాపాడాడు. ఈ ఘటన సిద్దిపేట జిల్లా కోహెడలో.
What in the world? This is so crazy to me. If there were a community full of people like me, we'd neutralize the threat. And we wouldn't ask permission. If I'm in a community and there are a bunch of stray dogs running around, I'm going to go out and looking for those dogs. I'm going to get them before they get me. Especially if I got a family. How on earth do they tolerate a community like this when they're parents and they got kids? That's unbelievable to me. Oh man, I don't get it. I don't get it. There should be constant civil unrest in India, places like India. Every other week, every week, you got these attack stories and footage, video footage. That video of that boy that I retweeted on Twitter, who in the world was filming that thing? And why did they just sit there filming? I'm not going to sit there and film a 2-year-old getting mauled to death by dogs. Whoever it was stayed right up in that room, looked like they were in a house or something, and filmed it. Boy, they are out of their minds. Y'all that numb to dogs? Just, hey, kill whoever you want, attack whoever you want. You have the right. And they got laws to protect dogs over there.
First at 5, 100 calls and complaints to police.
Yeah, I covered that too. 100 calls to complaints in police. They got no assistance. This is why you have to take matters into your own hands. And they basically want you to. That's why the Constitution exists. Man. Oh boy. I see the New York Post did a story on that woman who grew hair on her nose. Oh my goodness. Oh, there you go. How about that? Now, young people, you want that? And she was lucky. She was lucky. Do y'all know there's nothing she can do about that but just keep shaving it? Now, imagine you going to high school, you in college, and you got a nose like this that grows hair. Oh, but you're still alive. It doesn't matter what happened to you. You're still alive, right? So dogs are not a problem. This woman is one of the people, the types of people who they try to tell us hasn't experienced anything, hasn't gone through anything. Hair growing out of you on top of your nose. All right. Not that big of a deal, I guess. Man, oh man. What in the world? Wait a minute. No, that's too long. See, it's too much. I can't keep up with this. Wait, what is this? And that's just this past week. The world? Oh boy. Wait a minute. Who is this?
So there's this guy, I don't know what state he was in. I don't know if it actually said, but he was moving a ladder stand in January, and essentially a pack of wild dogs, or pack of dogs, attacked him on the property he was on.
You know, dog lovers, I want dog heads on my wall the way you all have deer heads on yours. And I want mostly bully breeds. You imagine how classy and fancy that would look? You walk into somebody's home and instead of deer heads, you see dog heads. It would make more sense, wouldn't it? What you killed a deer for? Deer wasn't trying to bother you. Wasn't barking at you. Wasn't attacking you. I know it wasn't. But the deer is the problem, huh? Is that what those deer, right? Or bucks or whatever they are. It's a buck. That's just a male deer, right? All right. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm just seeing all kinds of stuff that I haven't seen yet. It's like, what is this? Oh boy. Okay, I'm in the chat room. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, gotta go, guys. All right. Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, chatting it up. We hate dogs. I see you up in here. Equator, Mutants out. Lumpy. Marquise up in the house. Violet. I hope y'all have a pleasant weekend. Spread the good word. Always find an opportunity, any opportunity you see to drop information on people. Do it. Do it. Don't keep it to yourself. When you see something, I see a lot of situations and I take advantage of them. I try my best. Anytime you have an opportunity to refuse to go into someone's home, take it. Be bold about it. Ask them, you a dog owner? You got dogs? Will there be dogs there? Create a scenario, if possible, where you can, openly reject being around dogs. Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah. The plan was actually to have people on the show like early this year, like January, February. But I get confused. I tried to install Zoom a few days ago. I messed my whole computer up. I'm not that tech savvy. I think I just got lucky to be able to figure out the OBS system for live streams. But now I have to uninstall Zoom because my family is on Zoom. Like we're going to Zoom call each other, and it's fun. I want to do it, but I'm such a caveman. I can't figure out all the technical stuff. I'm gonna have to pay somebody to come over here and help me, and I'm gonna have it where people can call in. They'll have a number where they can call in, and I get your input on whatever topic we're dealing with on the day, because I find a lot of times I fail to say a lot of things, and quite often I see in the comment section and in the chat room a lot of people filling in those blanks. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, and we will do that. Have people call in, get their input. It'll be more of an interactive show. I like to get people's thoughts in real time as well. That's a lot better for me, and get their immediate reaction to things. But I hope Jacqueline Durand is with us for many years to come. And I hope one day she speaks out against some types of dogs, at least. This is her duty. This is her responsibility. This is her calling, along with others who've gone through similar experiences. You are being called to speak out against this lunacy. Don't miss your calling. There's literally no other reason to live but for what you're being called to do, especially when it has to do with having an impact on other people, on other lives. The last thing you want to do in this life is lead people in the wrong direction. Trust me, surrounding yourself with large dogs is leading people in the wrong direction, especially after you've already had your face mutilated and your face is still not even fixed yet. That is not intelligent at all. Shout out to everybody up in the house who was able to join me. Ashar, War on Dogs, Gene up in here. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, people. I know Twitter can be annoying. It's like very goofy. But some of the videos that you can see on Twitter, I cannot show on YouTube. And I hope to see all of you back on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.